So I was checking on YouTube the other day and I realised that I made a video about day one when I started taking hormones, and then nothing since then. And there's been two reasons for that. One is that I have just been really busy. I've moved house and been away on holiday and been busy with work, and so that's one reason why I've not made another video. The second is also that for a long time, nothing really seemed to happen. I've been tweeting pics, I've been putting pictures up on Instagram and counting the days and hoping that I could sort of look back after a certain time period and see the massive change, and then nothing was happening. But that's cool because these things take time. So today is day 166. So I guess that must be something around 6 months. And the good news is things are starting to happen. A part of the reason nothing happened for a little while is it took a while to get my hormone levels to be the right in the right places. So female hormone levels for estrogen should be between 400 to 600 milligrams, and for testosterone needs to be between 0 and 3 milligrams or micrograms or something like that. And for the longest time I was nowhere near those. I was taking some patches, I wasn't on anti-androgens, and so I wasn't really noticing any effects. And that was a bit frustrating. Sometimes you'll hear about people going on hormones and they're like, oh, I knew from day one, I felt so much better, and emotionally I've just been all over the place, I've been really happy. And I didn't really have any of that. I was in a good place. Things are going well for me, but it didn't seem that was down to taking any hormones or anything. So I had to go and see my GP and then try and make sure that the hormone levels were right. I went after 3 months and found out they were like miles off, and then after about 4 or 5 months, and I didn't get back because I didn't really have high hopes, especially because I hadn't started anti-androgens. So about 6 weeks ago I had my first injection of anti-androgens, and that will help to keep my testosterone level down, and hopefully mean that the estrogen level can start having more of an effect. However, when I got the results back from the test, I found out that actually, although my levels aren't necessarily where I want them to be perfectly, they are more or less where they need to be, and that was really great. My estrogen was 404, so that's just over the minimum threshold for being a woman. And my testosterone was 3.4, so it was a little bit high. But the cool thing was that test came from before I had the anti-androgens, so actually I had low testosterone anyway, which I may have mentioned, and going on the hormones, going on the estrogen has lowered that. So that was a bit of a revelation. It was kind of like, oh, actually maybe things have started happening, maybe things are now working. And I have started to notice a few things too. I think the first thing I noticed was that I felt a little bit more emotional. I was watching Glow the other day, which is an amazing show, and there was one point where something bad happened to one of the characters, and I was literally in tears, sobbing. Like, I kept telling myself, it's just a TV show, it's not real life, and they're going to be fine. But there was part of me that was like, oh no, I don't know how to cope with this. So that was the first sign that things were happening. And then more recently, I've noticed having, I think you can't see because I'm gripping my boob at the minute. I noticed having sore breasts. And that's something that people say is a sign that hormones are working. For me, again, because my initial hormones have been a little bit all over the place even before I started taking them officially, it meant I wasn't noticing some of the signs. So when I say like I'm growing my breasts and I've just started having effects, and that's because I've always actually had breasts in some form. You know, even when I was sort of not on hormones, I had some form of growth there, which may have been moobs or whatever you want to call. So for other people, they might start noticing breast forming, and for me, like I've always had something there, and I didn't necessarily know if it was getting bigger or not. But I started to have sore nipples, so that is great. Which I never thought I'd be saying. So, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm over 6 minutes, and I'll try and cut some of this down too. But for me, it's taken 6 months, but I'm starting to see the effect, and that's really, really great. And also, that's down to my levels being right. And when you start taking hormones, it's not necessarily how much you take, but it's where your levels are that make the big difference. So I would say to anybody who is worried about their own medication not taking effect, just to check out with your GP to make sure your levels are right. And then I guess just sort of have faith. So this is, like I say, about 6 months in. And hopefully over the next 6 months, I'll actually start seeing some more visible changes. Thank you.